This is England, and it is the Silicon Valley of Motorsport. The last 12 Constructors' Championship winners are based here. However, this is not the most interesting part. Instead, it is fascinating to understand why the decision for the base of your team is so fundamental and why it can literally give you an unfair advantage over other teams. For this, I've broken it down into 5 parts. All of them are important to fully understand why teams choose to stay in England. But first, let's clarify why it is called the Silicon Valley of Motorsport. Now, I'm sure all of you know the Silicon Valley. It is a region in California where the biggest tech companies in the world, like Meta or Apple, have their headquarters. And the equivalent for motorsport is the area around London. This is down to the fact that 7 out of the current 10 teams in F1, alongside other motorsport related companies, have their base here. This infrastructure has grown over decades and is now the best place when it comes to motorsport in the entire world. And this is also where we're going to look at first, the infrastructure. A headquarter for a motorsport team is expensive, yet they want to spend as much money as possible on the car. So teams like to take over already existing infrastructure from other teams that have either left motorsport or have gone bankrupt. A team that did that was Mercedes, because before they have been in Formula 1, Braun GP, the team that later transformed into Mercedes has already been working at the same facilities as Mercedes does today. And even Braun didn't have to build it from scratch. Instead, they took it over after they had bought the bankrupt Honda team. So it is common in motorsport to take over the infrastructure from another team. And since so many motorsport teams already have their base in Great Britain, it is way more likely that new teams are also going to take over their infrastructure in Great Britain and thus also have their base there. But this doesn't apply to everybody. Aston Martin, for example, have built a factory for the last couple of years. And where did they decide to build it? Right next to the Silverstone circuit, in the middle of the motorsport valley. However, without the right people that work there, your infrastructure is useless. And this leads me to the second point, and this is employees. Motorsport is a tough business, and it is even tougher to get in there. You have to do networking and gain a lot of experience before you can even get a job inside a motorsport team. This also means that once you are in the industry, you're not going to leave after just 1 or 2 years in it. But one fact is even more important here. People that have already been working in motorsport are more likely going to stay in the industry when they change jobs. So instead of leaving motorsport entirely, they just move to another team. This is also possible because the teams are located so close to each other that a move to another team doesn't necessarily mean that you would have to move. But in order to get a job in motorsport, you also need the right education. For most jobs in motorsport, you need at least a bachelor's degree. However, if you want to have a top job in a series like F1, you have to put a master's degree in a motorsport subject on top. And this area around London offers you the best opportunities for that. Because the 3 universities in Southampton, Cranfield and Oxford Brookes are the most renowned ones in the industry. So if you want to get into F1, they are your best chance. Because the proximity between the teams and the universities allows the teams to take over their graduates since they already live in this area. But there is one other positive thing to mention. Because the teams and the universities work so close together, the teams can tell the universities what their students should know for a job in F1. This helps both sides. The university has a lot of students that find a job in Formula 1 afterwards, and the teams get new employees with exactly the skills they need for the job. But now, let's move on to the next point, and that is suppliers. In motorsport, everything is about time. How fast you can set a lap time with your car, how long your pit stops take, and how long it takes your supplier to deliver the resources you need. Especially the last one makes a huge difference, because the less time you spend waiting for your order to arrive, the sooner you can start working. Take a look at Haas, for example. Even though their headquarters are in Kannapolis in North Carolina, they also run a smaller facility in England because it takes less time for parts to arrive. This also includes parts from other teams. because not every team produces every part of the car on its own. Teams like Aston Martin or Williams buy things like the engine from other teams so that they don't have to produce them on their own. Of course, this works better when there's a shorter distance between each team. This also leads me to the last point, and this is the effect of other teams. Companies from a certain industry attract companies that are similar to them. The more companies from that one industry are located in one place, more companies from that industry will come to that specific place. This also applies to motorsport teams. The more teams are already located in one place, the more attractive it is for new teams to build their headquarters right there, because all the suppliers and the experts are already at that place. It is basically like a loop. The more teams are located at one place, that one place becomes more attractive for new teams. These new teams then build their headquarters in this place, which makes it even more attractive for other people that want to build a motorsport team. So after the last couple of minutes, you now know why it is such an important decision to make. And another important decision an F1 team has to make at least once a year is the one between push rod and pull rod. I've recently made a video about the difference of the two systems. You can check it out up here. Thank you for watching, and until then, I'll see you next time.